The door slammed shut behind Poppy as she stormed out of the family estate in upscale Connecticut, her mother's words echoing like a gunshot in her mind. "You're no daughter of mine if you choose this path." It was the ultimatum she dreaded for years, the rejection slicing deeper than any knife because it came wrapped in the guise of love for the family legacy. But the real shock hit when Poppy overheard her mother's plan to push Quinn, her late sister's widow, into a marriage with a wealthy businessman, all to secure a real heir who could carry on the bloodline without the taint of what her mother called unnatural choices. Poppy's heart raced as she drove through the rain-slicked streets, her knuckles white on the steering wheel. How could her mother do this? Quinn wasn't some pawn in a game of dynastic chess. She was the woman Poppy had loved in silence for years, even before her sister Elena's tragic car accident 2 years ago. The guilt gnawed at her. Had her feelings for Quinn started as admiration for the strong woman who had made Elena so happy, or had it always been something more? Poppy pushed the thought away, focusing on the road ahead. She couldn't let this happen. Not to Quinn, who had already lost so much. Arriving at her small apartment in New Haven, Poppy collapsed onto the couch, her mind swirling with memories. Growing up in a family where tradition reigned supreme, Poppy had always felt like the outsider. Her father, a prominent lawyer who passed away when she was 15, had instilled in them the importance of legacy. The family name, the estate, the expectations. Elena, the perfect older sister, had married Quinn in a quiet ceremony 5 years ago, defying their mother's initial protests but eventually winning her over by promising to adopt and continue the line. But Elena's death changed everything. Their mother, Victoria, spiraled into grief, clinging harder to outdated ideals. Poppy's phone buzzed, a text from Quinn. "Can we talk? Your mom called." Poppy's stomach twisted. She typed back quickly. "On my way." Driving to Quinn's house in the suburbs, Poppy rehearsed what she'd say. She couldn't confess her feelings now. That would complicate everything. But she had to warn Quinn about Victoria's scheme. The house lights were on when she arrived, and Quinn opened the door, her face pale under the porch light. "Poppy, what's going on?" Victoria sounded insistent. Quinn's voice was soft, laced with exhaustion. They sat in the living room surrounded by photos of Elena. Happy times that now felt like ghosts. Poppy took a deep breath. "She's plotting something awful. She wants you to marry Richard Harlan, that family friend. Says it's for the heir, to keep the bloodline pure or whatever nonsense she believes." Quinn's eyes widened. "Mary? But I'm..." "Y lo ve de Elena. I can't just..." She trailed off, tears welling up. Poppy reached out, her hand brushing Quinn's, a spark igniting that she quickly suppressed. Inside, Poppy's thoughts raced. "This is wrong. Quinn deserves better than being traded like property. But am I any better, harboring these feelings for my sister's wife?" The moral weight pressed down, making her question every glance, every shared moment over the past 2 years. As they talked late into the night, Quinn revealed more. Victoria had been subtle at first, inviting Richard to family gatherings, hinting at how Quinn needed stability for the future. But now it was overt pressure, with threats to cut off financial support from Elena's estate if Quinn didn't comply. Poppy felt rage bubbling up. Her mother had always favored Elena, the straight-A student who followed the rules, until she didn't by falling in love with Quinn. Yet even then, Victoria had rationalized it as a phase, something to overlook for the sake of grandchildren. Poppy's own coming out 3 months ago had shattered that fragile peace. At a family dinner, she'd announced her relationship with a woman from work, only to be met with Victoria's cold stare. "This family can't afford another deviation," her mother had said. Deviation like they were defects in a perfect machine. The pain of that rejection fueled Poppy now. She wouldn't let Victoria destroy Quinn's life too. By dawn they had a tentative plan. Stall Victoria, gather evidence of her manipulations. But as Poppy left, Quinn hugged her tightly, whispering, "Thank you for being here." Poppy's heart ached with unspoken love. Was this betrayal of Elena's memory? Or was it the only way to honor the love her sister had fought for? The drive home was a blur of conflicting emotions, each mile amplifying the tension building inside her. Days turned into a whirlwind of secret meetings. Poppy delved into family documents, discovering Victoria's will revisions that favored a male heir, archaic clauses from her grandfather's era. It sickened her. Meanwhile, Quinn faced increasing pressure. Richard started calling. Flowers arrived with notes about future possibilities. Poppy's jealousy flared, but she buried it under determination. One evening at a coffee shop, Quinn confessed her fears. I feel like I'm drowning, Poppy. Elena was my everything, but now, I don't know who I am without her. Poppy wanted to say, you're everything to me. Instead she said, you're strong. We'll fight this. Their hands touched again, longer this time. Poppy's inner turmoil intensified. Am I using this crisis to get closer? The guilt was a constant companion, whispering doubts. Victoria escalated things with a surprise visit to Quinn's home. Poppy hiding in the kitchen as she listened. Think of the family, dear. Richard can give you children, the right way. Quinn's voice shook but held firm. Elena and I plan to adopt. That was our way. Victoria's response was icy. Plans change. Blood matters. Poppy emerged after Victoria left, her resolve hardening. This wasn't just about love. It was about breaking free from toxic traditions. But the cost? Alienating her only remaining family. As she held Quinn, comforting her, Poppy wondered if the fight was worth the inevitable heartbreak. The first confrontation came at a family lunch. Victoria announced Richard's proposal casually, as if discussing weather. Quinn froze, but Poppy spoke up. This is insane, Mom. Quinn's not interested. Victoria's eyes narrowed. Stay out of it, Poppy. You've caused enough damage with your choices. The words stung, reopening old wounds. Poppy's mind screamed. My choices? Like loving who I love? But she held back, knowing a full explosion would play into Victoria's hands. Instead, she excused herself, plotting the next move. That night, alone, Poppy wrestled with her conscience. Fighting meant exposing family secrets, risking everything. But backing down meant losing Quinn and herself. As the days passed, the pressure mounted. Quinn received legal letters from Victoria's lawyer, hinting at estate disputes. Poppy consulted a friend in law school, learning about undue influence. It was a long shot, but it gave hope. Yet inwardly, Poppy questioned her motives. Is this for Quinn or for me? The tension built like a storm, each interaction laced with unspoken truths. Poppy knew the breaking point was near, and when it came it would change everything. Poppy's phone rang at midnight, Quinn's name flashing on the screen like a beacon in the dark. She's here, Quinn whispered urgently. Your mom and Richard. They showed up unannounced. Poppy bolted upright, adrenaline surging. This was the escalation she'd feared. Victoria forcing the issue in person. Rushing to Quinn's house, Poppy parked a block away, sneaking in through the back door. She could hear voices from the living room. Victoria's authoritative tone, Richard's smooth persuasion. It's time to move forward, Quinn. Elena would want you to be happy with a family. Happy? Poppy seethed internally, as if happiness could be dictated by outdated norms. Hiding in the hallway, Poppy listened as Quinn resisted. I appreciate the concern, but I'm not ready. Victoria pressed. Ready or not, the estate needs an heir. Without one, everything crumbles. The implication was clear, comply or lose it all. Poppy's mind raced. How far would her mother go? This wasn't love, it was control, rooted in fear of societal judgment. When Richard excused himself to the kitchen, Poppy slipped into the living room. What the hell, Mom? She demanded, her voice low but fierce. Victoria's face hardened. This doesn't concern you. Quinn looked relieved, but the air crackled with tension. Richard returned, eyeing Poppy warily. Perhaps we should discuss this privately, he suggested. The argument erupted then, voices rising. Poppy accused Victoria of manipulation, citing the will changes. You're treating Quinn like property. Victoria shot back. I'm protecting our legacy. Something you abandoned with your lifestyle. The word lifestyle hit like a slap, reducing Poppy's identity to a choice. Inside, she battled rage and hurt. Why can't she see me as I am? Am I that broken in her eyes? Quinn intervened, her voice steady. I loved Elena, and that love doesn't erase because she's gone. I won't marry for convenience. Richard looked uncomfortable, but Victoria was undeterred. Think of the children you could have, the real family. The cruelty of it stung Poppy. Her mother's definition of real excluded her entirely. As they left, Victoria warned Poppy, "Interfere again and you'll regret it." Alone with Quinn, Poppy collapsed into a chair, exhaustion washing over her. "I'm sorry," she murmured. Quinn sat beside her, their shoulders touching. "You shouldn't have to fight my battles." But Poppy thought, "It's our battle now." The closeness stirred forbidden feelings, guilt twisting like a knife. Loving Quinn felt like betraying Elena, yet denying it felt like betraying herself. The next morning, Poppy met with her law school friend, Sarah, at a diner. Sarah reviewed the documents Poppy had smuggled. "This could be coercion. We might challenge the will." Hope flickered, but Sarah warned, "It'll get ugly. Family secrets aired in court." Poppy nodded, her mind weighing the cost. Exposing Victoria meant destroying any chance of reconciliation. But silence meant surrendering Quinn to a loveless marriage. Meanwhile, societal pressures amplified the drama. At work, Poppy faced whispers, colleagues knowing her family's prominence, judging her orientation. One coworker said casually, "Tough break with your mom. Families like yours expect certain things." It reinforced the isolation, the constant battle against norms that deemed her love invalid. Quinn called later, voice trembling. Richard proposed formally. "Your mom was there, pushing." Poppy's jealousy surged, irrational but real. "Don't accept," she pleaded. Quinn hesitated. "What if it's easier to just conform?" The words crushed Poppy. Was Quinn considering it? The thought of losing her to that life fueled Poppy's determination. They met that evening in a park, away from prying eyes. Quinn looked haunted. "I feel trapped. Elena fought for us, but now." Poppy took her hand. "You don't have to do this alone." Their eyes met, a spark igniting. Poppy's inner voice warned, "Pull back." But the pull was stronger. "Quinn, I care about you more than I should." The confession hung in the air, vulnerable and raw. Quinn's eyes softened. "Poppy, I..." But she pulled away. "This is complicated. Elena." The rejection, even unspoken, hurt. Poppy nodded, hiding her pain. "I know. But we can't let her win." Inside, doubt crept in. Am I pushing too hard? Is my love selfish? The conflict deepened when Victoria cut Poppy off financially, freezing her trust fund. "Until you come to your senses," the note read. Poppy stared at it, anger boiling. Senses? As if her identity was a delusion. She pawned some jewelry to pay rent, the humiliation burning. This was the price of defiance. Quinn faced similar tactics, subtle threats to her job at the art gallery, owned by a family friend. "They're closing in," Quinn said over coffee. Poppy suggested going public, perhaps a social media post exposing the pressure. But Quinn feared backlash. "Society already judges us." Two women. The reminder of broader prejudices weighed heavy. Poppy's mind churned with ethical dilemmas. Was fighting worth the damage? Or was compromise the moral choice for peace? But compromise meant erasing who she was. No, she decided. Truth over tradition. A turning point came at Elena's grave. Poppy visited alone, pouring out her heart. "Sis, am I wrong? Loving Quinn. It feels right, but the guilt." Tears fell. Leaving, she felt a resolve. Honor Elena by protecting Quinn's freedom. That night, Quinn texted, "I turned Richard down. For good." Relief flooded Poppy, but with it, fear of Victoria's retaliation. The storm was brewing, and the next confrontation would be explosive. As alliances formed, Sarah offering pro bono help, Poppy prepared for war. But inwardly she questioned, at what cost to my soul? The courtroom loomed like a battlefield, its polished wood and stern judge a far cry from the intimate family dramas Poppy had imagined. Victoria had sued Quinn for breach of an informal estate agreement, claiming Elena's wishes included continuing the family line through marriage. It was a desperate move but effective in dragging everything into the open. Poppy sat in the gallery, her heart pounding as Quinn took the stand, looking composed but fragile. Under questioning, Quinn recounted the pressures, the uninvited visits, the financial threats. "Mrs. Hargrove insisted I marry Mr. Harlan to produce an heir," Quinn said steadily. Victoria's lawyer objected, but the judge allowed it. Poppy's mind raced. This is it, the exposure. But watching her mother glare from the defendant's side, Poppy felt a pang of sorrow. Was this destruction necessary? Victoria testified next, her voice unwavering. I'm only honoring my daughter's memory. The family needs stability. The lawyer probed. And your other daughter, Poppy? Does she fit into this stability? Victoria hesitated. Poppy has chosen a path that complicates things. The courtroom murmured. Poppy's cheeks burned with humiliation. Chosen? As if she woke up one day and decided to invite rejection. Outside during recess, Quinn squeezed Poppy's hand. Thank you for being here. The touch sent warmth through Poppy, but guilt followed. Witnesses included family friends who echoed Victoria's views. Subtle homophobia masked as concern for tradition. One said, in our circles, certain expectations maintain order. It highlighted the societal web entangling them, where love was secondary to legacy. Poppy's turn on the stand was grueling. Miss Hargrove, why oppose your mother's wishes? The lawyer asked. Poppy swallowed. Because it's wrong. Quinn isn't a means to an end. She detailed the manipulations, her voice cracking. Inside, she battled. Am I betraying my family? Or saving it from itself? Cross-examination was brutal. Victoria's lawyer insinuated Poppy's motives. Isn't it true you're involved with Miss Quinn? Gasps echoed. Poppy denied it, but the seed was planted. Quinn's eyes met hers, questioning. The lie weighed heavy. Hiding her feelings felt like another cage. After court, they walked in silence. Quinn finally spoke. Is it true? What he said? Poppy stopped, heart in throat. Quinn, yes. I felt this way for a while. The admission hung between them, raw and terrifying. Quinn's face softened. Poppy, I care about you too. But Elena. The conflict mirrored Poppy's own. Love versus loyalty. Victoria confronted them outside. You've ruined everything, she hissed. For what? Your selfish desires. Poppy stood tall. No, Mom. For freedom. Victoria stormed off, leaving Poppy shaken. Was she selfish? The doubt gnawed, amplified by the trial's toll. Media caught wind, local papers running stories. Heiress battles mother over widow's future. Comments online were vicious, some supportive, others condemning family wreckers. Poppy scrolled through them late at night, the hate fueling her isolation. Society's judgment was a mirror to her mother's, questioning if lesbian love could ever be normal. Quinn faced backlash at work, clients pulling out. They say it's too controversial, she told Poppy over dinner. Poppy's anger flared. This is what she wanted, to break us. But Quinn smiled faintly. Us. The word sparked hope. They talked for hours, sharing vulnerabilities. Quinn admitted. After Elena, I shut down. But with you, it feels alive again. Poppy's heart soared, but morality tugged. Is this right? Timing feels like theft. The trial resumed with expert testimonies on estate law. Sarah argued coercion, presenting emails from Victoria pressuring Quinn. The evidence was damning. Victoria looked defeated, but her eyes held accusation toward Poppy. The guilt intensified. I'm tearing her apart. A pivotal moment came when a family therapist testified on the psychological impact. Forcing conformity leads to resentment, she said. It resonated with Poppy's inner struggles, the years of hiding, the self-doubt. Had Victoria's love ever been unconditional? Closing arguments sealed the tension. Quinn's lawyer painted Victoria as controlling, Victoria's as protective. The judge deliberated, the weight agonizing. Poppy and Quinn spent it together, walking New Haven streets. Whatever happens, we've fought, Quinn said. Poppy nodded, but inwardly. If we win, what then? Our feelings exposed. The verdict. In Quinn's favor, the suit dismissed. Relief washed over them, but Victoria's exit was cold. No words, just a glare. Poppy approached her outside. Mom, can we talk? Victoria shook her head. You've chosen your side. The rejection cut deep, a final severance. In the aftermath, Poppy and Quinn navigated their budding relationship cautiously. Dinners turned intimate, conversations deep. But shadows lingered, Elena's memory, societal stares. Poppy questioned. Are we honoring her or erasing her? Friends offered mixed reactions. Some celebrated. Others warned of scandal. Poppy's boss pulled her aside. Be careful, perceptions matter. It underscored the ongoing battle against bias. As weeks passed, Victoria reached out sporadically, terse messages about practicalities. Poppy responded politely, hoping for thaw. But the damage was done. In quiet moments, Poppy reflected. The fight liberated us, but at what price to my soul? Quinn moved in gradually, their life intertwining. Yet moral quandaries persisted. Was loving my sister's widow a betrayal or fate's twist? The high came with costs, lost connections, emotional scars. Poppy wondered if the victory was Pyrrhic. Months after the trial, the wounds festered, unhealed by time. Poppy and Quinn built a life together in a cozy New Haven apartment, away from the estate's shadow. But Victoria's silence was a constant presence, a void where family should be. Poppy stared at unanswered texts, her mind churning. Did I push too far? Was there a way to win without losing her? Quinn noticed the melancholy. Talk to me, she urged one evening as they cooked dinner. Poppy sighed. I miss her, even after everything. Quinn nodded. She raised you. But she hurt us. The balance was precarious. Forgiveness versus self-protection. Poppy's inner debate raged. Hold grudge or extend olive branch. Each choice carried ethical weight. Society's backlash intensified. Anonymous letters arrived, calling them homewreckers. At a gallery event, whispers followed Quinn. That's the one who sued her in-law. Poppy confronted one gossiper. Mind your business. But the defense exhausted her. Why must we justify our love? The question haunted, highlighting ingrained prejudices. A breakthrough came when Victoria called unexpectedly. We need to meet, she said curtly. Poppy's heart leaped. Hope? They met at a neutral cafe, tension thick. Victoria looked older, weary. The trial. It opened my eyes somewhat. Poppy waited, breath held. But your choices still pain me. The conversation unraveled old grievances. Victoria admitted fear. I lost Elena. I couldn't lose the legacy too. Poppy countered. Legacy isn't blood, it's love. Tears flowed. You rejected me for who I am. Victoria hesitated. I was wrong, but society. The excuse rang hollow. Poppy thought change starts at home. Why cling to judgments? They parted with uneasy truce. No hugs, but a promise to talk more. Quinn was skeptical. Don't let her manipulate again. Poppy agreed, but hope flickered. Reconciliation meant vulnerability, risking more hurt. Personal growth emerged from chaos. Poppy volunteered at an LGBT center, sharing her story. Fighting family norms is hard but necessary, she told a group. Attendees nodded, their struggles mirroring hers. It validated her choices, easing guilt. Quinn pursued therapy, processing grief. Elena's gone, but loving you doesn't diminish that. Poppy held her, emotions swirling. Their relationship deepened, built on shared trials. But intimacy brought doubts. Am I worthy? The self-worth battle was ongoing. A setback hit when Richard sued for defamation, claiming trial lies damaged his reputation. It was petty revenge, likely Victoria's influence. Poppy's anger resurfaced. How much more? Sarah handled it, dismissing the case quickly. But the stress strained Poppy and Quinn. One night, arguing over it, Quinn snapped. Maybe we rushed this. Poppy's fear peaked. Losing her now? No, we're in this. They reconciled, but the fragility showed. Love amid drama was turbulent. Victoria's next visit was surprise, showing up at their door. I want to understand, she said. Skeptical, Poppy let her in. Over coffee, Victoria shared her past. A conservative upbringing, suppressed dreams. I projected my fears onto you. It humanized her, revealing layers. Poppy empathized. We're all products of our environments. But does that excuse harm? The evening ended positively, Victoria hugging Quinn awkwardly. Take care of her. It was progress, but Poppy remained guarded. Trust rebuilt slowly. Societal shifts influenced too. A local pride event featured their story anonymously, inspiring others. Poppy spoke. Challenge prejudices even in family. Applause bolstered her. Yet betrayals lingered. A cousin leaked details to tabloids, twisting facts. Lesbian affair tears family apart. Poppy confronted him. Why? He shrugged. Tradition matters. The dismissal fueled her fire. Family wasn't blood, it was choice. Quinn and Poppy discussed future. Adoption like Elena planned. Our way, Quinn said. Poppy agreed, but inwardly, will Victoria accept? The moral tightrope continued. As bonds mended tentatively, Poppy reflected on sacrifices. Lost innocence strained relations but gained authenticity. Was it worth it? The question persisted. A family gathering tested waters. Victoria hosted, inviting them. Tensions simmered, relatives whispering. But Victoria defended. Their family. It was a small victory shifting dynamics. Poppy and Quinn left hopeful. In the car, Quinn said, "We're building something real." Poppy smiled, but doubts whispered. At what ultimate cost? The journey taught resilience, but scars remained. Poppy wondered if full healing was possible. Years blended into a tapestry of hard-won peace, but the undercurrents of past conflicts never fully subsided. Poppy and Quinn married in a simple ceremony, surrounded by supportive friends, the absence of Victoria a poignant reminder of lingering rifts. Yet, her congratulatory card arrived days later. "Wishing you happiness." It was progress, albeit measured, sparking Poppy's eternal debate. Can wounds truly mend, or do they merely scar over? Their life normalized, Quinn thriving in her gallery, Poppy advancing in marketing, specializing in inclusive campaigns. But echoes of the drama resurfaced in quiet moments. At a family reunion, Victoria pulled Poppy aside. "I've been thinking about Elena. She'd be proud." The words warmed, but Poppy probed. "Of us? Or despite us?" Victoria Said. "Both, perhaps." The ambiguity highlighted ongoing struggles. Acceptance versus tolerance. Societal evolution helped. Laws changed, attitudes softened, but pockets of resistance remained. Poppy faced a client who balked at her personal life. "Does it affect my work?" she challenged. He backed down, but the incident reminded, battles aren't one and done. Quinn's pregnancy via IVF brought joy and tension. "A child!" Victoria exclaimed over the phone, excitement genuine. But she added, "A boy would be nice for the name." Poppy bristled. "Still clinging to heirs?" "Any child is a blessing," she replied firmly. Inside she weighed. Educate or estrange? The choice defined her growth. The birth of their daughter, named Elena in honor, bridged gaps. Victoria visited the hospital, holding the baby with tears. "She's perfect." Poppy watched, emotions complex. Forgiveness feels right, but forgetting? Impossible. Raising little Elena exposed new dilemmas. School forms listing two moms drew stares. Playdates canceled subtly. Poppy's protective instincts flared. Shield her, or teach resilience? Quinn advocated openness. "Our story is her strength." Poppy agreed, but fears nagged. "Will she pay for our choices?" Victoria's involvement increased, babysitting, stories of family history. But clashes arose. "Teach her traditions," Victoria urged. Poppy countered. "Traditions evolve." The push-pull tested boundaries, moral quandaries resurfacing. Honor roots or forge new paths? A crisis hit when a conservative relative contested the estate again, citing moral clauses. It was baseless but dredged up old pains. Poppy sued back, winning swiftly. Victoria supported. Enough is enough. The alliance solidified, but Poppy questioned. True change or pragmatism? In therapy, Poppy unpacked layers. "I fought for love but lost parts of myself." The therapist nodded. Reclamation takes time. Quinn joined sessions, their bond strengthening through vulnerability. Community work became Poppy's outlet, mentoring young LGBT individuals facing family rejection. "Your worth isn't their approval," she advised. Their stories mirrored hers, reinforcing the fight matters. Quinn's art reflected their journey. Paintings of intertwined figures, symbolizing resilience. A gallery show drew crowds, including Victoria. "Powerful," she admitted. Poppy saw glimmers of understanding. Yet betrayals echoed faintly. An old friend distanced herself. Too much drama. Poppy let go, realizing true allies stay. As little Elena grew, asking questions. "Why two mommies?" Poppy explained simply. "Love makes families." The innocence contrasted past turmoils, a reminder of stakes. Victoria's health scare unified them. Hospital bedside, she confessed. "I was wrong. Fear blinded me." Poppy forgave. We move forward. The moment cathartic, closing chapters. Life settled into rhythm. Holidays shared, milestones celebrated. But Poppy reflected. Sacrifices shaped us. Damages healed but lessons endured. In the end, their story was one of defiance. Love triumphing over prejudice. Yet, the path was fraught with costs, emotional, relational. Was Poppy's rebellion justified? Or did it fracture what could have been mended differently?